If you're not a big goal setter like me personally, I've not been a huge goal setter in the past, not in terms of vanity metrics or I want to do this many things by a certain date. I've more so been a process oriented goal setter, whereas I want to commit to certain things and set goals around those, like being consistent for 30, 60, 90, 120, 365 days, rather than things that are out of my control, like metrics on social media, how many subscribers or how many followers, or how much money I want to make, or how many people I want to impact. These are all things that I'm thinking about, and I've struggled to set goals around when it comes to like a metric standpoint. And I was reading my friend Sahil Bloom's newsletter, The Curiosity Chronicle, which if you haven't subscribed to that, go check that out. It's one of the few newsletters that I actually read. And he had this really, really dope framework around goal setting for 2024. And again, I'm not a huge goal setter. I try to set things like I want to do X for X amount of days. And if I stay consistent with it, then boom, I can imagine that the metrics or whatever goals amount are going to come to fruition. So I use this framework, this goal setting framework, to set goals in four areas of my life. And for really the first time, I have set some vanity metrics, and for the first time in my life, I've set some goals that have had like a number attached to them. And not from like I want to make X amount of money, um, which obviously I do want to make more of that so I can have a greater impact. So that's something I need to work on there. But a few of the metrics that I have, I'll share with you guys. But first and foremost, I kind of wanted to go over how I am using this goal setting framework to set my goals for 2024 and then working backwards all the way down to what I need to be doing on a day to day basis. So, with the goal setting framework, there are really four areas. And those areas are personal, professional, health, and relationships. And Sahil didn't say that you have to do those exact four. Like you could have just one, you could have just personal goals, you could have just professional goals, just health, just relationship, whatever. You could do personal and professional. You could do all of these and more. For me, these are really the four areas of life that I want to focus on. So I set goals in the areas of personal, professional, relationships, and health. And so within those, each one of those, you have your big goals that you set. So you can set 1 to 3 big goals. But for me, it was really like I didn't set any more than two in any of those areas. So for your big goal, it's kind of like something that you want to hit by the end of the year. And I will use an example from one of my personal goals, or actually, I'll use an example from one of my professional goals, and then kind of use that as an example as we're going through this process here. So, big goal for me is to have 200,000 followers on Instagram by the end of the year. So, what do I need to do for that? The next section, which Sahil outlines, is you need to have checkpoint goals. And a checkpoint goal is after a month or after a quarter, after at the midway point in the year or 3 quarters of the way through the year, you need to have these metrics that you set for yourself so that you're able to make sure that you're on track. Are you doing the right things? What do you need to change? What do you need to do differently? What do you need to do more of to make sure that you are on pace and on track to ultimately hit that goal? So I'm currently at 70,000 followers. So by the end of the year, I want to get to 200. So that is a 130,000 follower increase by the end of the year. And for me, I know that I need to get 65,000 more followers. So be at roughly, I'm trying to do math in my head here. I need to be at 130 Yeah, that sounds right. I need to be at 135,000 followers by June. Not I need to be, but I would like to be. That is the goal. So that is my checkpoint goal. And then I can't do math in my head right there, but I'll have a checkpoint goal at Q1, at the end of Q1, to make sure that I am kind of on track to see what are the things that I need to do differently. What are some types of posts that I need to create? How can I better engage with my community? How can I bring more value? That is the main piece, is how do I just continue to bring more value? And I know if I bring value, then and continue to connect with my community, then more followers will come as a byproduct of that. And the reason why followers matter to me in the first place is it is just kind of a positive feedback loop of, am I providing value on a day-to-day basis that people come to that want to become better versions of themselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. So we have our big goal, which is 200,000 followers on Instagram. We move to our checkpoint goal, 65,000 followers increase by June, by the end of June. Then we have our daily systems, right? And so your daily systems are the small habits, the stacking the bricks, doing the little things each and every day that are ultimately going to contribute to these checkpoint goals and then the bigger goal. So for me, in order to stay on pace with the checkpoint goal and with the big goal, my daily systems are 15 minutes of conscious consumption. That is one of my daily systems. Conscious consumption is essentially going on Instagram or social media and scrolling, intentionally scrolling. So this is not something that is you want to get caught doing a ton. So I make time. I put it in my schedule. I put it in my calendar for conscious consumption, where I scroll through the explore page. I search random niches and check out different random accounts. Excuse me. Excuse me there. We are wrapping up a cold here, people. So we go and consciously consume just lots of random content, just to see what is working for some other people and see if there's anything that I can add on to my content that will, or if I can get some sort of inspiration. I'm not ever trying to emulate or mimic anybody, but I do like checking out what people are doing for a hit of inspiration, especially checking out people in other niches. I think that is very, very valuable. And so that is one of my daily systems, is conscious consumption, 15 minutes. Also having 15 minutes of creative time. So if you don't make time to be creative, you're not going to get those hits of motivation or inspiration. And if you wait to be creative, you're not going to be creative. And a lot of times you have to create that environment in order to be creative. And for me, I have gotten caught up in the past of like, oh, this has been working, this style of post or whatnot. And then after a while, it's like, okay, well, this is getting a little old. What is something new that I can come up with? What is something that I can create that's never been seen before, right? And so that is where I take out my iPad and I just take out a blank sheet on GoodNotes, which is a great app to check out, by the way, for note taking. And I just doodle. I write down some inspiration, I draw, whatever, but I set a timer for 15 minutes that allows me to stay creative. And then another daily system that I have there is to have 30 minutes of thinking time, which to me is just time where I'm not stimulated. So that could be going on a walk, it could be sitting in the sauna, it could be meditating. It is time for me to shut my brain off, not be stimulated, and allow me to go inward and listen to what God is trying to tell me. And a lot of times this is where I get my best ideas. So, or it could be on a run, it could be on a walk, it could be in the gym, whatever. But making that conscious time to just not be stimulated is very important to me. So we have our big goal, 200,000 followers. We have our checkpoint goal, which is 135,000 followers by the end of June. And then we have our daily systems, the actions that we're going to take on a day-to-day basis in order to achieve that goal. Lastly, we have our things we should avoid. So anti-goals. Anti-goals are things that will hold you back from achieving those goals. And so I have them written down so that I can turn to and look to on my weekly review when I check in on these goals and see if I did any of them. And if I did do any of them, was it a contributing factor to not putting out the best content I could, or not connecting with people in my community, whatever else it may be, right? And that's another part of my goals as well. So one of my daily systems is to reach out to 3 new followers each and every day and just see if there's any value I can provide, and also what kind of content they're looking for, and just get to know them on a more namely basis. And that's one thing. I don't do this for the vanity metrics. I do it to make an impact. And if I'm not communicating with the people in my community, then I'm doing everybody a disservice. I'm doing myself a disservice, and I'm doing it for the wrong reasons. So that's another thing that I'm doing as well. But a few of my anti-goals are to never let the vanity metrics or the pursuit of the goal sway me away from actually having a connection with the people that have invested their time into following me. So never letting the goal or the metrics get too big to actually just be a human being. And then another one is to avoid just doom scrolling. So if I'm sitting on the toilet, or if I'm in the line at the grocery store and I just start scrolling, that is not going to contribute to the higher goals. And then lastly, it is not letting the comparison trap, not falling into the comparison trap. So looking at other people's content and, trying to mimic or emulate them in any way, and having any sort of jealousy or animosity towards them because they're popping off. Like, we're all trying to win out here. Everybody, there's so much room to win. There's so much more. There should be more room for collaboration versus competition out there. So those are a few of my anti-goals that are going to contribute to my checkpoint goals and my big goals. And that, my friends, is how I am setting my goals for 2024. And I will link in the show notes a PDF to this goal setting framework, or to the Curiosity Chronicle, rather, which is Sahil's newsletter, where you can download a PDF of just checking out how to set the goals for yourself for 2024. But this has been really helpful for me. Again, I'm not a huge goal setter, so having this framework and this outline has been really beneficial for me. I hope that it helps you guys as well. Like I said, I also have goals professionally, personally, from health standpoint, from a relationship standpoint. So I don't have enough time to go over all of those. But if you would like to hear them, shoot me a message. I'm happy to share them with you. I may even just put them out on Instagram and just put them out there into the world. So be on the lookout for those. And if you guys need any help or any questions, leave a comment. Connect with me on IG at Dominic Fusco. And if you guys are enjoying these solo episodes, if you're listening, please leave a 5-star rating and review on whatever platform you're listening. And if you're watching on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe to the channel. We are dropping new content several times a week with the intention to help you become the best version of yourself and live a more fulfilling life. Love you guys. Thank you guys as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Thank you guys so much for tuning into today's episode. I wanted to give you all a heads up too that I launched a free community on the Upspace app where you can join, ask me questions, connect with like-minded individuals, follow my 4-week running and strength training program that has some dedicated mobility sessions in there as well, so that we can all optimize our health and fitness together. So if you're interested, head over to the App Store, download the Upspace app, and join the Pure Ambition community today. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.